When were you encouraged to play percussion?
The principal came into our room and said that we could take a music instrument if we wanted to. And I saw the drum, and it was like love at first sight. That's when I started, and I haven't stopped. In junk, in metal, I have thousands of sounds that are all totally different from each other. So it's like giving an artist a choice to paint a picture with 7 colors or with 1,000 colors. And to me, what interested me was the opportunity to paint my oral photographs with 1,000 colors.
At what time did the environment and sustainability become a concern to you?
About 20 years ago, it became clear to me that there wasn't anything being taught in the schools about the environment. I would be lucky if there was 1 or 2 teachers that recycled paper. And so that led me to start to include it as part of my residencies because I really felt it was something that needed to be said and that students needed to find out about.
When did you connect your passion with your feelings for the planet? And how did you decide to make this a life goal?
I started, actually welding the two together. But I think it's also important to tell you a story about my father and about where all this really came from. On the last day of school, I had all these books in my hand, and the notebooks had these covers that were kind of cardboard, they were kind of plastic, and they had like a waxy feel to them. And I think they still make them today, but my dad looked at my books and said, "What are you going to do with your books?" He says, "Well, can I have them?" And I said, "Well, sure," because I had no use for them. School was out. I was done. So he put them up on this shelf way high above his workbench, didn't say any more about it. And I remember one Saturday morning getting up and going outside, and my dad was out on like a patio, and he was down on his hands and knees, and he had the carburetor off of his car. That's back when cars had carburetors. And he had one of my notebooks down there, and he was tracing the carburetor outline onto the cardboard. And what he was doing was he was making a gasket out of my old book to go onto the carburetor. He would make things with what he had as opposed to just saying, I got to go to the store and buy this or that or whatever. No, he didn't do that. He figured out how to use what he had to make whatever he needed to make. And that left a huge impression upon me.
How has sustainability emerged in your own life?
I'm constantly learning from other people and as well as teaching. And I think that that's what it's all about. It's about, I think a good teacher is somebody who's constantly learning.